Hey everybody, welcome back to the Kit Cave. Back with you for another update to the current build, the USS Enterprise Enterprise D, the 1/1400 scale kit from AMT ERTL. Hope everybody's been okay. Progress has been a little bit slow to date. It's not because I haven't been doing anything, it's just purely because it seems to be taking a long time getting through certain bits and pieces. But I thought I'd share an update with everybody on what it actually is I've been working on. First and foremost, you can see a bit of a mess in front of you, in front of the camera there. Primarily, I've been working on the electronic side of the project kit, getting the Arduino components together and writing up the code. It's been an experience with learning Arduino for the first time. I've got to be honest, I have been using that new, or not so new system, but that new thing that's going around that everybody's raving about, that Chat GPT, the Open AI. It's been really, really useful, and I've been using it quite a lot to help me write code and understand the coding process for doing the boards. But essentially, where I'm at with the board now, so if I just move the camera up so you can see what's going on. So it's a bit of spaghetti junction going on over here. So it's all mocked up, lots of different components now fitted in. Essentially, this is now done. This is, the coding has all been done. The circuit board's all mocked up and it's all working, ready for being installed into the model kit. Now the installation side of it, of course, and you know, when I build the proper circuit board here, that's going to come later on down the line. When it's ready to go into the kit. But here it is. I'll get it all plugged in, ready to go. But essentially what we've got now connected to this board, well, a number of different things. So first of all, you can probably see at the back there, I've got a bigger speaker. This is a whopping 2-inch speaker. It's a 4-ohm 5-watt speaker I picked off of eBay for a couple of quid. And then last week I bought another one to experiment with. I think this is an 8-ohm 5-watt speaker. I did rig this one up. It's a little bit quieter. But I'm kind of experimenting to see which is going to fit into the bass eventually, and this one is loud. This circular one is very, very loud indeed. But essentially 4 components then hooked up to the board itself. And going back, of course, we've got the phaser strip, so the addressable LED strip here. This is to simulate the phaser firing. Now, on the last video when I posted this, the update to this, I had a bit of a glitch with the code where the lights were coming on, but the sound effect wouldn't play, and it was kind of intermittent. The lights would always come on, but sometimes the sound wouldn't play. So I went back to the code, debugged it. It was a very simple debugging fix, and now it's working absolutely fine. What else we've got connected is a strip of just pure white LEDs over here, just mocked up, because this is for the warp flash effect. So when the ship goes to warp, it does that bright white flash on the warp nacelles as it jumps into warp. And so that's mocked up. Over here onto the board, we've got some LEDs, which are then, of course, will be situated inside the model itself. So we've got 2 LEDs over here. These 2 are for the navigation and the strobe flashing lighting effect. And these 2 little bad boys right here are red LEDs, because this is for the Photon Torpedo firing system. So let me get things plugged in. Bear with me. Just pop the camera down because I can't do this one-handed. Oh, on my wonky tripod there. There we go. So this is running off of a flat 9-volt power supply. And as you can probably hear, speaker is going. Sound quality is not the best, so I need to work on that a little bit, see what I can do to improve that. But as soon as it powers on, it starts to play this intro. So that's the intro playing right at the start, as soon as you power on the board. There we go. So I'm gonna cut that soundtrack short just in a second. I press this There's your phaser firing effect. Sorry, that's really loud, that speaker. So we still got the navigation and strobe lights functioning throughout. What we were hearing there, I've programmed into Arduino that as soon as the Arduino board is powered up, it starts to play that intro now. It's not the theme tune from the TV series of the Next Generation. It's actually the end credit score from Star Trek V. Which was then essentially that same musical score was used for the Next Generation, and it's a really good bit of music. And it's about 4 minutes long, and it plays the entire end credit soundtrack all the way through as a starting point. But there we go. So navigation and strobe lights are flashing as we just saw there. Then I'll do that again on camera. Here is the phaser firing effect. So that's working absolutely fine. It's looking really cool. I've got to remember which button does what now. Bear with. This button over here, this is going to do the warp flash over to the white LEDs. There we go. You can see a flash there. Try that again. So they all flashed on, in sync, in time with the sound effect. And then for the last part, if I try to move this wire out of the way a little bit so we can see, so these two over here, the red LEDs, press this button, and this is going to be for the Photon torpedo firing effect. So press once, one will come on, press it again, and the second one comes on, and that's to simulate the Photon torpedo firing at both the front and the back of the ship. There we go. Just make that out. Those white LEDs are really bright, flashing away there. And there we are, Photon torpedoes. And there we go. So there we are. That is pretty much the Arduino all done and ready to be installed. And let me just turn the power off on that one. Looking very rough as it's all mocked up, but I'm happy with how that's working now. So essentially I can deconstruct all of this, pack all these bits and pieces away to keep them safe, ready for when I come back to install it properly into the model kit itself. I may even add a little bit more to the code. I was a little bit worried at first about how much memory space all this code was going to take up in the Arduino. My fears were unfounded, because this entire code written to do all these effects is only taking up about 47% of the actual total memory space. So I'm even thinking about adding some additional coding there, maybe an optional other button, and it's a button whereby you can cycle through different sound effects. Press the button and it randomly cycles through a load of different sound effects, which I'll probably look on the Trek Core website and see what I fancy. Just as a little bit of added extra, why not? But there we go. So that's the Arduino bit done. So moving on then, what else have I been up to? Well, again, I've been spending money, more money being spent. But it's well worth it, because obviously doing this kit, I've decided, if I'm going to be doing this, let's go the whole hog, and let's get this kit as best as I can make it, as accurate to the studio scale model as I can possibly make it. So I've been downloading and looking at lots of different reference images and so on and so on and so forth. So a bit of show and tell now, guys. So other things I've collected. So as a lot of people have done, from motion picture miniatures, sorry, I'll try and get this on camera, motion picture miniatures here. This is the paint mask set in a great big envelope. Sorry, I can't really fit it all on camera. Great big envelope, painting mask decal, painting mask set for the kit. This is the four color kit, masks, I should say, ready to go on. Also, a couple of weeks ago, I was Saturday evening, my wife was watching a program on TV, and I was scrolling through internet, just looking at model kits and different websites, and I was just browsing on 7View Hobbies here in the UK, not looking for anything in particular, but noticed straight away that they had back in stock, finally, there we go. Sorry, I can't fit all this on camera today for some reason, but there we go, the green strawberry photo etch set for this kit. Back in stock, and so without any hesitation whatsoever, hit that add to basket, paid for it right there and then. So I've been hoping to get my hands on this for quite a while. So lots of bits that I'll be using, obviously from this photo etch set. Some bits I'll use, some bits I won't. I won't be using the phaser strips, and there's a reason I won't be using these phaser strips in here, but I'll obviously keep them as a backup just in case. Why I'm not going to be using these phaser strips is because when I ordered the paint mask set from Motion Picture Miniatures, I also spotted on his on the chap's website that they even do this. These are actually resin parts. These are resin, again from Motion Picture Miniatures. They only cost £10, but these are resin detail parts to replace the phaser arrays, the phaser strips. So I'm going to be using these instead of the photo etch set. Now they are cast in white polyurethane resin, and what I'll probably do with this, to be fair, and if I can get this on camera, I don't know if you can see it. Come on, focus into it. The detail is in there, and they're detailed just the same as the photo etch set from Green Strawberry. Come on, pick it up, camera, if you can. There we go. You can just about make it out. Camera's not picking up the detail, I suppose, because it's white today. The white part, nope, not going to pick it up. But they are detailed. It's hard to make it out on camera. But what I'll probably do is I'll probably make molds of these and recast them into clear polyurethane resin. For two reasons, really. A, I've got a backup set just in case I make a mistake and damage one of these, but then I've got the photo etch set to deal with. But also for the phaser strip on the top of the saucer, I'd rather have them in clear, because of course they are going to get painted over, but they're going to have a light coat going over of the grey colour, the greyish brown colour for the phaser strips, but I want them to be as clear as possible to allow the light of the phaser strip LEDs to shine through. It may work just fine with this white stuff, and I'll experiment, but as a backup I'll make a mold of them anyway. So I pick those up, so they're good to go in eventually when I get to that stage. One other thing then I've picked up, and it was on Thursday morning. I was sat in my conservatory having a cup of coffee, as I do every morning before I go to work, looking on eBay, and I was perusing on eBay, just looking at Star Trek model kits and the like, as I often do, and spotted on eBay really good thing, which arrived this morning in the post, and it's another photo etch set. Now this was created by, if I can spot it, it says Millennium Models International, and it's copyrighted, I don't know if you can make that out, 2000. So produced 23 years ago. But this is a photo etch set. This is the transport emitters. Now in the stock kit you get decals. What comes with the kit is you get these little decal sheets for the phaser emitters there. And I was always looking at trying to figure out a way, or thinking about, okay, how could I make these into a raised detail part. And there we go. Now I don't have to fart around with it, because I've actually got the set right here. £15 off of eBay. Well worth the money, because they're going to get installed now. Job done. So lots of new bits to go into the build. So I've been collecting things. What else have I been doing then, guys? So as I said, progress is a little bit slow. Again, apologies for the long video, but I have been working on the actual model kit itself. More notably, if I can get this massive great big saucer, I've been spending time, as you can see here, it's not finished yet, but I've been going through and I've been drilling all the pilot holes for all the windows that need to be opened up. I still haven't got round to scraping off all this panel, raised panel detailing, but you can see here all along the top, all the windows have all been drilled, pilot drilled out, ready to get cut out on the top saucer section. I've also done the same thing on the bottom. Same thing, all the windows have been pre-drilled, pilot holes drilled and getting ready to be cut out. That took took hours upon hours, which has been okay, with the lovely weather we've been having here in the UK of the last few weeks. It's been nice to be sitting in the garden and doing this stuff to my leisure. Again, on the bottom piece here, windows are being drilled out. Now what we're seeing here is this is me trying to accurize the kits as best I can, going back to reference images of the 6-foot film miniature used for Star Trek Generations, and matching up the windows, because there's too many. And so as best I can, matching up to make sure there's the right amount of windows, and any windows that shouldn't be there have been filled in. So this is what these dark grey spots are here. And again, I've still got to get rid of these horrible raised panel lines and carry on with all this bit. Same again, and this is kind of just what I've been working on. This is why progress has been a bit slow. On the back piece here, again, it's the same thing. Opening up, starting the process of drilling pilot holes to open up the windows. And again, you can see a lot of filler here. And again, this is because I'm trying to get this model as accurate to the studio scale model as is possible, which meant looking at a lot of reference images as best I can and going through and filling up windows that really shouldn't be there because they're not there on the 6-foot filming miniature. And that's what I've been doing. And both the sides here, the windows are in a different locations in some cases, and so I've done it that side as well to marry it up as best I can. There's still some more work, of course, to do on this piece. All the panel lines need to be scraped off. These lines on the side here, this line running down the back end here, that needs to completely disappear. A new line scribed across. I believe these bits here, again, I'll have a look on the reference images to the studio scale model, but these little depressions here, I believe they're too low. They need moving up to the next deck somewhere up here. They need shifting up a few millimeters up to this space here. They're a little bit low, so that's a bit of work to do. Also on the back here, looking at reference images where we've got the aft torpedo launcher. Sorry, I'll move this better into camera. It's hard trying to look at the camera and film this. Again, fair play to the modelers that first created this kit way back in, I think it was 1989, 1990 when they made this kit. But this edge here, it's too sharp an edge where it's connecting this top piece connected to the body. It's too sharp. On the 6-foot studio model, is actually more of a subtle curve. It kind of blends in more subtly with the body. So that's an easy thing to do. That's just fill that up with putty, sand it back, so it's a nice smoother edge there. A bit of detailing needs to be done there. But there we go. So but again, you can see I've been going through, opening up windows, making sure, looking at the reference images, which windows should be there, which shouldn't, and doing all of that. What else then? It's the saga continues. So what's taking the most time at the moment is, you know, the other week I got all of the windows drilled to all the bits and pieces. That was great, and that was my process. I was going to get all the pilot holes drilled to then go back and start opening up all the windows. And so the final part to start drilling the windows or opening up the windows for were, of course, the dorsal bit, the neck piece. And that's kind of where it stopped. And I kind of scratched my head a little bit, and I went back to the reference images of the 6-foot filming miniature, and the more I looked at the images of the actual filming miniature, the more I looked at this stock kit part, the less I was liking what I was seeing. In short, this part of the kit is probably the worst bit for inaccuracies in it whatsoever. Now, straight out of the box, okay, if you want to, you know, a lot of people would just do this straight out of the box, absolutely fine. It is what it is. Great, go for it. You know, don't get me wrong, the guys that first produced this kit way back in the day, back in the late 80s, they did a good job of it with the resources and equipment they had at their disposal. So I'm not knocking what they did there, but comparing this to the studio scale model, and it is not great. It's not great. I mean, if you can see it on camera, you've got all these panel lines in here which are all wrong. All the windows, and you can see again, I was looking at reference images and I was filling up windows here, because there's windows that are in place what shouldn't be in place. There are windows that are not there that should be. So an example is, if we can just pick that up on camera, these little 3 lines down here, that's where windows should be, and they're not. That's just me marking it with a pencil. Yeah, also you've got, if I get close up in, where you've got these panel lines, you can see all the detailing in the panel lines there, which is not on the studio scale model. I've got to be honest, just horrible, just absolutely horrible. The more I was looking at it, I was beginning to hate what I was seeing. The other issue, of course, as well, is trying to drill these windows out. Now, sadly, this is the opaque version. I wish I had the clear kit, but I haven't. Interestingly, the other week I did see the clear kit on sale on eBay. It's still on sale on eBay here in the UK. The clear version of this kit, going for a quite reasonable sum of £595 plus £20 postage and packaging. What the hell? What the hell? I mean, okay, if somebody's going to spend over 600 quid for the clear kit of this model, all right, fair play to them, but Jesus, really? That's a bit pricey. Come on. But there we go. So the other issue I was looking at with this then, of course, is trying to drill these windows out. Now, yes, the windows can be drilled out. I've got drill bits small enough. I've got drill bits that fit into a rotary tool. And you can see I kind of experimented a little bit, if I can get it on camera up there, if it focuses in on these top windows right at the top here. That was using a 0.3 millimeter drill bit, and I've got to be honest, it looks horrible. It looks absolutely horrible. Not happy with that whatsoever. And of course, the whole point of what I'm trying to do with the windows here is trying to get these windows as cleanly cut out, as cleanly drilled out as is possible. But yeah, not liking that at all. So what can we do about it? Well, this is what I was thinking of, and this is what I kind of been working on this week. I kind of had to bite the bullet with this a bit. I'm not going to be drilling the windows out on this plastic gear pit, on this plastic piece here, because they're just going to end up looking horrible. So there's only one thing to do, really. Only one thing to do, and also, you know, it's not accurate. So you know, all these lines need to go. It's a bit of a mess. So the decision has been made. A lot of time, a lot of effort to re-accurize or to accurize this kit part, and then make a mold of this kit part and cast it into clear polyurethane resin. So clear liquid plastic is probably the best way forward for this. And that's kind of what I've been working on, even this morning. So I started with the other bit. Here's the stock bit. This is where I'm up to. This is the other side. Okay, a lot better at this stage. It's just straight away looking a lot better. So essentially what I've done here is sanded back all of this back to flat plastic, just got rid of all this detail, got rid of all the windows, got rid of the whole lot, and I've spent time this morning scribing panel lines back in. Now, when I first initially did this at the beginning of the week, I did make a bit of a mess of it. I've got to be honest, it was a bit of a hash job. The panel lines were all a bit messy, not very clean, not very straight, and that was purely because of my personal lack of experience of using a scribe tool. I've got a Tamiya scribe tool, as a lot of model builders have. I've never actually used one before on other builds. It's the first time I've used it here, and so it's taken a little bit of practice. So I had the panel lines scribed out, didn't like them, filled them all back in with putty, sanded it all, wet sanded it all back down, and then redid it all again. And that's what I've been working on this morning, and I'm a lot more happier with what I'm seeing here. And again, this is using reference images from the studio scale model as best I can to figure out where these lines are going. Some of them are a little bit wonky, but that's the best that I can do, the tools and the skill at my disposal. It's looking a lot better. Looking a lot better. So correct number of decks. I mean, even on this kit here, there's not even the correct number of decks. It's actually missing one deck. So there isn't even the correct number of decks on this kit. But there we go. So correct number of decks are now in. Lines have all been scribed, nice and flat. But of course, what it's missing is the windows. So how am I going to get the windows in? Well, this is what's going to take a bit of time. What's basically going to happen now is I'm going to have to start cutting out all of the windows. And I'm going to be using, I've got some white, oh, come on. What do you call it? White vinyl sheet, matte white vinyl sheet. It's quite thick, thicker than standard paper, but that's okay. Which means I'm going to have to cut out all the windows and then stick all the windows, looking at the photographs, the reference images of the studio scale model kit to put all the windows in the right place and have them all in there. Now the windows are tiny. I've already experimented. It is doable. It is doable to do it. I have experimented cutting these little windows out. They are bloody tiny. Literally, the windows are measuring, to be accurate, they're measuring 0.5 millimeters wide by a millimeter tall for those little small windows. The windows up here on the top piece, the last two decks up here, they're actually longer. Those windows are longer on the studio scale model, for which I'm thankful, because it'd be easier to bloody cut the things. But yeah, that's what's going to have to happen. I'm going to have to start cutting out all of these tiny little windows, laying them all in place onto here. Now, it's going to be done in white vinyl sheet, because what's going to happen next is once all the windows are in, this whole piece is going to be sprayed over multiple times. It's just going to have layer upon layer upon layer of grey primer placed on it. And the whole reasoning for doing that is that with the layers of the primer, it starts to build up the kit. So it puts a layer up on the kit here, so that when you take the actual windows back off, the little window pieces, the window mask, what it leaves is the depression of the window itself, just like we see on the model kits. So as an example, spray it all over, build up the layers, take the window mask out. So what you're left with then is, as we can see here, is this window placement and depression recessed into the model kit. Once that's all done, it's then a case of cast a mold of this piece using silicone, and then once that's done, recast this part into clear polyurethane liquid plastic. So a lot of time, a lot of farting about just to get some windows to light up on this model kit. But it's probably the best method to do, to get nice clean windows and get them back accurized in the right place with the right paneling detail. It's a lot of effort. Is it going to be worth it, all this time and expense and effort in the end? Well, I hope so. But there we go. We'll soon find out when I crack on and get it done. What I'll probably do as well, seeing as I'm accurizing this part, I might as well go the whole hog and accurize this down here, because this is not right. It's close, but it's not perfect. Now, of course, there is the green, the bit in the green strawberry kit that accurizes this Photon torpedo launcher at the front of the ship. There it is on the kit part. If I can get it on camera, that's the bit that accurizes it. Now, I'm not going to use this. I'm not going to sacrifice this kit part, just in case this doesn't work. If it doesn't work with the recasting it into clear plastic, then at least I've got the stock kit part to go back to and figure something else out with. But what I am going to do, and I'm going to use this piece as a template, and I'm going to cut this out in thin plastic, very thin plastic. So basically I'm making this same template, just made out of plastic, not brass, and get that installed and laid in here to accurize this piece, so that when I come to make a cast, make a mold of this, it's going to be a fully accurized piece straight out the box, so to speak. What I'll probably do as well is when I cast this piece together, I'll probably even join these two bits, cut off all these stupid bloody flash line mold things here. I'll probably cast it as one solid bit, so I'll put it together like this once I've got it all done, and cast it as one solid accurized neck piece. And you can see the difference already, look, from the kit part to the now soon to be accurized other bit. And it's probably going to be easier and better to cast it as a solid piece like this, solid clear liquid plastic bit. And there we go. That's what I've been working on. That's why progress has been slow. More so because the last week and a half I've been experimenting, trying different things, and racking my brains about what am I going to do to sort out the inaccuracies of this piece, and then decided I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and spend the time and effort to do what I'm doing now. Cut out all those windows, place all the windows in, spray it all over, scribe out all the panel lines, so on and so on and so forth. So yeah, a lot of time, a lot of work. But you know, I've set myself up with this challenge. It's the Enterprise D. It commands it to be to be accurized. And of course, it's all about what it's going to look like at the end of the process. You know, fingers crossed. Like I said, I'm going all out on this kit. And I've got to be honest, this is probably the first model build that I've done where I'm going to this extent of detail and accurizing on the kit, because it's the Enterprise D. It's my most favorite starship out of all of them, so it's well worth it, and it'll be well worth it in the long run, right at the end when we see it, probably in about 5 years time by the time I get to the point of finishing this bloody kit. But yeah, there we go. Still a lot of work to do. And there we are, everybody. That's what I've been working on. What's coming up next then is that bit's done. I'm happy with that line scribed in today. I'm going to start this afternoon on this piece now and do the same thing on this today. get rid of all of this, sand all this off, and then just go back and start rescribing all these lines all the way back in, which shouldn't take that long. You know, now that I have a process, I know exactly how to do it on this bit and use the same technique. It's going to take a couple of hours, but get all this bit accurized with the panel lines and the rescribing bit. Once that's done, it's then a case of start putting in all these windows. I'll probably maybe even do that first before I do the windows. Accurize this bit down here. That shouldn't really take that long, to be fair. A couple of hours work to do that, and then it's going to be all the windows, and then start spraying it all up, ready for making a mold of. And just as a bit of a reference, I did experiment the other day with this process. So you can kind of see it here. It's a bit rough, but the proof of concept is there. So what we're seeing here, these little bumps, these are the cutout pieces of the vinyl sheet that I was talking about earlier that I'm using, laid on, and it's just sprayed over with some old silver car body paint, spray paint I've had lying around the cave. But you can kind of see the proof of concept is there, even on the tiny little windows. It's hard to pick it up on camera. Yeah, so it's been sprayed over, layered up. The actual window template itself has been taken out, so it leaves the depression of the windows in place there, and even these little really small tiny ones, if you can see that. It's hard to make it out on camera, but it does work. It is there. Just got to be careful, take your time with it. Would I recommend anybody going to this extreme to do it? Well, yes and no. If you wanted to go to this extreme to accurize a model kit part, go for it. Fill your boots. God, is it worth it? Yes, it is. Of course it is. Come on. It's going to look great. Absolutely fantastic when it's done. But there we are, everybody. Sorry for the long video, but a bit of a show and tell video today. As I mentioned, is all these bits that's taking the time. It's more so this that's taking up the time. But I want to get this bit done. I want to get it because it's been bugging me. I'm a type of builder. When I come across a problem, I can't let the problem sit. It bugs the crap out of me, and I have to work on it until I get it done, and it's done right. Only when it's done, then I move on to the next bit. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Spending some more time over the next few weeks, get these bits done, and then I can move back over to the rest of the model kit and start with all the cutting out of the windows, light blocking the inside, beginning the accurization of bits that need to be done. So more so on the back here. Spend some time accurizing all these bits, and there's some more windows that need to be drilled in up here. Get all that sorted, and then it's onto the usual process of get all these bits off, light block it all, start installing all the LEDs and the electronics ready to be put in. You know, to have all of the Arduino and all these sound effects and flashy lights and all the gubbins put in. And then after that, it's all the priming and the puttying and the masking and the spraying, and it just goes on and on and on and on. But it's a labor of love. If I didn't love it, wouldn't do it, obviously. But there we go. Anyway, I'll stop rabbling on now. I need to crack on and start working on this piece. Get this piece done and sorted out, because the more I look at it, the more it bugs the crap out of me. So yeah, I'll crack on, get it done. Thanks for watching, everybody. Again, as always, anybody that's left comments on previous videos, or anybody that's hit the subscribe button, and for anybody that's hit the like button, again, it's all very much appreciated. Thank you for doing so. I'll crack on with this then, and hopefully I'll be back very soon with another update. You all take care. Enjoy the lovely, glorious sunshine that we are having, certainly here in the UK, and hopefully you're having the same similar weather in other countries, wherever you're viewing this video from. But please enjoy yourselves. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe, and I'll be back very soon with another update. Bye-bye.